WWE's annual Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is just days away, taking place for the first time at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, where some unfortunate wrestlers from both Raw and Smackdown will be locked inside the unforgiving 5-ton 20-foot-high steel structure. The pay-per-view surprisingly has no United States or Intercontinental title defenses, or in fact any matches from 205 Live, having just only 8 matches in total. With the pay-per-view still being 5 hours long, which includes the kickoff show, we should see some lengthy matches, rather than SummerSlam, which involved a substantial number of matches, but included 3 squashes. We've already covered a number of rumours that will supposedly happen, so check that out if you want to, but in this video, we are looking at predictions only. Let us know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with them, and tell us your picks. Number 1. Jeff Hardy vs Randy Orton in a Hell in a Cell match. It's hard to believe that after wrestling in the WWE for so many years and taking part in some historic matches, Jeff Hardy has never been involved in a Hell in a Cell match. Whilst Jeff Hardy may be getting older, he hasn't received the memo that it's time for him to start taking things easy in the ring. The charismatic enigma is still performing some sick spots, such as almost breaking his back performing a swanton bomb off the top rope onto the apron at SummerSlam. It doesn't stop there, however, as discussed in a recent interview with Wrestling Inc., he wants to do something that people won't forget. The one thing I've never done in the WWE is participate in the Hell in a Cell match. And here we are, I'm in the Hell in a Cell with Randy Orton. And so I've been asking for it all this time, and now I have to see what I can do inside there. It's going to be very memorable. I'll do something that people won't forget. That's one to knock off my list as far as things that I want to do. Could this something involve topping Shane McMahon's leap off the top of the cage at WrestleMania 32 by courageously doing a swanton bomb off the top of the cell? It might, but one thing is for certain, and that is Hardy wants to get some serious payback against Orton, which could see him do something sadistic and brutal in return for all the vicious acts Orton has done to him. This could also see the result in bringing out his alter ego, Brother Nero. Jeff Hardy is a risk taker, but this may ultimately be his downfall, as he might crash and burn onto the announcer's table, much like Shane McMahon did, with Orton capitalizing on the win. That's why we predict Randy Orton coming out victorious. Number 2. SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair takes on Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has to be one of the most mishandled WWE superstars on the roster, with WWE getting it totally wrong when turning her heel, viciously attacking Charlotte whilst receiving cheers from the crowd, which is certainly what WWE didn't want. Mistakes have obviously been made, but we could see WWE correcting it at the pay-per-view by having a double turn, which could see Lynch turn face and Flair turn heel. Whilst we would like to see Becky Lynch finally get her hands back on the SmackDown Women's Championship, it's unlikely to happen just yet. If we will indeed see a double turn, it could possibly mean that Charlotte will lose it and do something heelish in order to get herself disqualified. Becky Lynch will pick up the win, but unfortunately not the belt. This could be just the beginning of a number of matches between the two, which could see Becky Lynch win the belt at the Evolution pay-per-view. That's why we predict in this match, Becky Lynch will win via disqualification. Number 3. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey takes on Alexa Bliss. Ronda Rousey has been a dominant force on the Red brand, showing no signs of slowing down, winning the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam in quite quick fashion. Whilst the same could happen again with Rousey showing her supremacy against Bliss, it's unlikely the WWE will book it this way again. Alexa Bliss might have learnt from her previous encounter and could take measures to try and avoid being slipped into Rousey's deadly armbar submission. She will either try to escape it or prevent Rousey from locking it in. But with her size, it would be difficult to power out, which could mean she might make it harder for Rousey to apply it by either targeting her arms, legs, or even her back, preventing her applying a full stretch. It might, however, still not be enough to get a win on her, but this time Rousey might have to break a sweat as she finds out that Bliss has learnt from her mistakes and could out-wrestle her. We still predict how Ronda Rousey will retain the Raw Women's Championship. Number 4. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella take on The Miz and Maryse. Both Bryan and The Miz tied up in a great match at SummerSlam, but this time the wives are getting involved in a mixed tag team match. Daniel Bryan and The Miz will no doubt be the biggest feud of the year, possibly lasting all the way to WrestleMania 35 next year. Since The Miz got the upper hand thanks to Maryse in their last encounter, we could see Bryan and Brie getting the win this time, making the results against each other even, giving them enough reason to continue their feud and another match at Survivor Series. We therefore predict Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella getting the win. Number 5. Smackdown Tag Team Champions The New Day take on Rusev and Aiden English. It seems like the power of pancakes reigned supreme on the August 21st episode of SmackDown Live when the New Day bested the Bludgeon Brothers to become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions in a grueling no disqualification match. This totals their reign to number 5. We mention this because it could play an important part in the next coming weeks, and of course the match itself. The Bulgarian Brute has had little success on the blue brand, always coming up short in title matches, but this Sunday could finally see a win and a title change on Rusev Day. However, it might not be for long, as the New Day might win back the titles after the pay-per-view, tallying up their reigns to 6, and WWE playing hot potato with the titles in order to make the New Day strong contenders to knock off the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian for the most tag team title reigns in WWE history. Regardless, however, we predict Rusev and Aiden English winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Number 6. The Raw Tag Team Champions Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre take on Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Ziggler and McIntyre overcame the B Team last week to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. However, on this week's edition of Raw, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose managed to get a title shot at this Sunday's pay-per-view. Now, this one is tricky, as WWE wants Ziggler and McIntyre to surely have a decent run with the titles, and having them lose at the pay-per-view would make for an embarrassingly short reign. At the same time, they want to show the Shield is ready to dominate the WWE again, as just like in their last run, they want every member to hold a championship and make up for lost time during Ambrose's injury. Whilst it's a shame the Intercontinental Championship isn't going to be defended on the night, this should surely be an exciting match, and it will certainly add more intrigue to Raw's tag team division. The power and size of Drew McIntyre will be no easy feat to overcome, but we predict that the WWE wants the Shield to hold the belts, continuing their momentum on the red brand as WWE's #1 faction. That's why we predict Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins becoming the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Number 7. WWE Champion AJ Styles takes on Samoa Joe. AJ Styles has been, and you'll have to pardon the phrase, a phenomenal champion, having a 300+ day reign, overtaking legends such as Yokozuna, The Ultimate Warrior, and superstar Billy Graham. However, we think enough is enough, as championship matches have become predictable over the last few months, and it's now time to hand over the reins to someone else. Who could be more perfect than the dominant Samoa Joe, who has been a worthy adversary, and could no doubt make a great champion on the blue brand. It's a shame that this heated rivalry won't take place inside the demonic structure, but this SummerSlam rematch is no doubt going to be personal, as Joe continues to use mind games against AJ Styles and his family in a disturbing manner. This could ultimately be Styles' downfall, and it could see Joe getting the win, leading to a more interesting bout at WWE's Super Showdown event in Australia, where Styles will have to try and recapture the belt. Also, having Joe come out as the loser could quite easily hurt his credibility as a vicious and powerful heel. That's why we predict that Samoa Joe will come out of Hell in a Cell as the new WWE Champion. And number 8, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns will take on Braun Strowman in a Hell in a Cell match with Mick Foley as special guest referee. It's the main event, and it's been no secret that WWE wants to position Reigns at the top of the company for a considerable amount of time. After finally relieving Brock Lesnar of the Universal Championship at SummerSlam, fans were just happy to see a new champion, but that doesn't mean they wanted Reigns to become a long-term champion, as lurking behind him was the monster among men Braun Strowman, who cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase to challenge Reigns in the steel structure. But even though WWE has built him to be a formidable opponent, it seems they've worked too hard to put the belt on Reigns, only to give it up at the next pay-per-view. Expect to see Reigns fight through a bloody and brutal match, convincing the WWE Universe that the big dog might be overpowered by the monster. But the fighting champion will come back, and it will somehow involve both teams of the Shield, Ziggler and McIntyre, somehow getting in and helping each other's ally, leading to a massive brawl, but one that sees Reigns retaining the belt. So in the main event, we see Roman Reigns retaining the Universal Championship. So those were our predictions. What are yours? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.